So, really cool update to Google Docs. If you are not aware, Google Docs can now talk without any add ons. So, we don't have to go and search for potentially malicious Google Chrome add ons to Google Docs in order for it to have that functionality. So, that's kind of really cool. So, if you are grading papers that are typed in Google Docs, if you want to listen to PLC notes or whatever, those things are very possible now if they're in Google Docs or copy and pasted to Google Docs. Also, really good for young people. So if they're writing a couple of sentences, I want to hear those sentences back to make sure that they flow the way that I would like, or to ensure that the sentence structure actually is correct. I haven't forgotten any words. Really cool functionality there as well. Big caveat though. So there is the potential to overload our metacognition here for young people in that there is not a highlight function as these things are being read. So it's just reading the document, but it's not telling me, not highlighting the words it's reading. So that could potentially cause some issues with, you know, trying to use this as a single instructional tool. Hey, I just gave you this Google Doc, press and listen to it. Well, I'm listening to it, but I know perhaps I can't keep up with what it's saying because there's no visual cues that give me that ability. And so our friends who are EL learners, our spread friends, those kind of kids might struggle. A kid like myself, I'm going to struggle. There's not the closed captioning works on television because generally the words that are being said are on the screen as well. But if you put a bunch of text on the page, you've just created a potential problem there. If I get lost, I may not be able to find where I am in the document again. So if you're going to use it in that particular sense, it might be worth strategically thinking about the amount of text on a particular page. The other caveat is there's a single voice per page. So while you could simulate a podcast, if you're creative and you're using multiple tabs, there's going to be one voice. So you could do a podcast-ish type situation scenario inside your classroom, but not a truly podcast if you wanted to have a conversation or something like that. That would be a caveat. And the other thing is you can't download the audio independent of the Google Doc, which kind of stinks as well. But hopefully, again, this is the first time it's been in the wild right now. They'll add some improvements. There'll be some different ways we can utilize this tool going forward, especially if you tell Google that, hey, those are things that you would like. So how might this work? Like initially, I was like, vocabulary instruction is where I would go with this, like bada bang, like kids building a portfolio of words or ideas or concepts around a particular topic that they curate, and they are able to design authentically. That is a pretty like low lift of this particular tool. So here's a template, and I'm going to link it. So if you want this template, you don't have to build your own. You can just take it and move things around. But there's nothing special about this particular template. So we used to do lookbooks all the time. When I was an elementary school teacher, just a really great way to force young people to reconcile with, I just learned some things. What does that look like parsed out? And so this is just a basic structure. We have the vocabulary word or the idea or the concept would go up here at the top. We'd add an image, and what the definition of that would be, an example sentence, and then like, where did I encounter this word? All right. So that being the case, let's see what this looks like all completed. All right. So pyroclastic flow is perhaps my favorite example of this, just because I love how that word, pyroclastic flow flows. It's just a cool term. Very destructive term, but very cool. So I've got an image that's there. I've got this button so that it can be listened to, my definition, my example sentence, and then where I found it. Ice Cube uses this term quite a bit, which is dope. How do we build this? So let's take a simpler concept than pyroclastic flow. Let's say, just for kicks and giggles, a cat. If I click this add an image deal here, I'm going to get rid of that. Add an image. I'm going to get rid of those words. Go up to insert, image, generate image. So if your kids have access to the image creation AI tools in Google Docs, you're going to have access to this. I'm gonna get rid of that, and I'm just gonna use my imagination. A Siamese cat wearing a baseball cap, sipping a latte. Great. How do I want that to look? Do I want it to be photography or vector art, sketch, watercolor, whatever? Let's do photography again. I want it to be wide and create. So it'll take a few minutes for that to create, but we're also helping young people again. How do we co-create with AI tools without AI tools taking over the creation process? And this is another way that we can, really demonstrate this particular process. I'm the one coming with the vocabulary word. I also prompted it in terms of what I wanted to see in my image, so that's still my creativity. It's producing the image, but there's not a situation in which the AI is taken over in this particular point. All right, cool. We got, that looks like the Cubs, maybe. Yes, the Cubs. That's kind of hilarious. It's the Cubs, the cat wearing a Cubs hat. Cool. Awesome. So we have the Siamese cat wearing a Cubs hat. Cool. I'm not a Cubs fan, I'm a Cardinals fan, which this hurts me to my core, but it is what it is. All right, cool. Cat. A small mammal who terrorizes rodents and has been domesticated for centuries. You could probably go far deeper into what a cat is. A feline, I don't know. Making this up top, man. But again, do what you need to do. Example sentence. The cat ripped up my clothes because she was mad that I didn't give her a treat. All right, if you have cats or had cats before, you know that is not too far off of reality. Where did I find this word? I don't know. The Great Mouse Detective. If you're a person of a certain age, you know what that is. All right, Great Mouse Detective. That's where I found that information. Cool. Now let's add some narration to it. And so if I click that magic button in the top right-hand corner.
Cat. Definition: a small mammal who terrorizes rodents and has been domesticated for centuries. A feline. Example sentence: the cat ripped up my clothes because she was mad that I didn't give her a treat. Where did you find this word? The Great Mouse Detective.
Wonderful. Now again, our cat's big. I'm talking about a house cat here, so don't come at me in the comments. So great house cat, whatever. If I notice down here at the bottom I have more options, I'm actually going to do this before. I'll hit that more options button. You can change the voice. I find this voice to actually be very pleasant, but you can change the voice similarly to how you can do it in Google Vids. So if you're someone who's experimented with Google Vids, that's a thing. And then hit the insert audio button, and we can customize that. This is the vocabulary word. Let's make it blue. We can keep the same size. Great. And there you go. Like I have that there. I can get rid of this so that when someone visits this page, or if I visit the page, click and go. How else might you utilize this particular strategy inside of Google Docs?